Ho ho ho, hey neighbor, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John. I've decorated spectacularly for Christmas. As you can see, we have a gingerbread house over here, and then we've got that, whatever that is, and a snowman that doesn't light up because I haven't changed the battery since 2016. Not all heroes wear capes, okay, but today we're gonna be doing a tier list of Christmas songs, some of the most popular and some of the most, I guess, iconic versions. Not all of them are going to be by their original artist, but I tried to limit this to original songs, original artists, or else the version that really everybody knows of, say, a classic hit like Jingle Bell Rock, or Let It Snow, or Wonderful Christmastime. We're doing the old, we're doing the new, and we're doing everything in between, and there's 35 songs total, and rest assured I will miss your favorite, but not because I hate you, just because I can't do everything. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, please hit the like button, and let's get to it. Why not take it all the way back to an absolute Christmas classic? It's Bing Crosby's version of White Christmas. I grew up listening to this song very consistently. My parents literally had like old records, like I think the original single release of this on vinyl. It's definitely a staple of the season. I just hear it, I start to feel all jolly and in the mood, so I gotta start off with an absolute S tier placement. However, in the spirit of keeping things ho-ho hostile, I do have to throw out an F tier with the Alvin and the Chipmunks Don't Be Late song. The one that just grates your eardrums and people think it's really funny if you just toss that on and we all get a little laugh. We've had our laughs. Now this is just death-like torture. Bobby Helms and Jingle Bell Rock are up next, and as is the case with pretty much any holiday music, I think it should go without saying that we get sick of some of these songs, we burn out. But for Jingle Bell Rock, I do enjoy this. It's between B and C for me. But in the spirit of fairness and knowing that I love a lot of these songs even more, I'm gonna go comfortable C. C for comfortable. Talk about underrated, we have Neon Tree's Wish List up next. This is a holiday song that came out about a decade ago, 2011, and from the moment I heard it, I just felt this special connection to it. Not only is it one of my favorite songs by Neon Trees, but just in general with the holidays, it's one of my favorites. I love the spirit that it captures of loneliness, maybe a breakup around the holidays, but it still has a little bit of shine to it, like we're holding out hope, and I think it's ridiculously catchy, fun, memorable, S tier. Ariana Grande's Santa Tell Me has become a staple of Christmas in recent years. Thank God this is not from her Christmas and Chill project, it predated that. I think this came out in like 2013, 2014, but I love her vocal runs that she pulls off here. The ending of the track is fantastic. It's worthwhile. I do think it's one of the better modern Christmas tracks that you'll find. I'm putting this a very strong A. Blink-182's I Won't Be Home for Christmas. This came out just after Dude Ranch in 1997 in time for the holidays. Scott Rayner was literally still in the band as their drummer at this point. You know me, I'm gonna throw in some rock picks in here too because that's kind of my primary thing, alternative rock and indie, so you're gonna see more like this. Blink-182, I Won't Be Home for Christmas, it's very catchy. I love the fact that it's talking about like just not being able to tolerate the people you're around, but pretending to anyways, so I'm putting it an A too. Jose Feliciano, Feliz Navidad. I have such fond memories of this track, just being a kid, getting the words wrong, and then my parents trying to teach me the words, and then I still get it wrong. Even as an adult, it's just one of those tracks that feels timeless to me. No matter how many times I hear it, it's one of those that's still going S tier anyways. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have another modern holiday track. It's Mistletoe by Justin Bieber. I remember when this album came out, and it was hard to stomach then, and it's not aged well, yet it continues to rise up on the charts, even here in the 2020s. I think this is a really bad track. I think that Justin's vocals sound really bad. It's just so ridiculously cheesy, monotonous. He made a Christmas album to make a Christmas album, and I'm putting it in the F tier. F tier, I smiled with my Grinchy smile. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You guys heard that one before? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah, that's the one where the glowing nose in the night because he guides the sleigh because it's so ridiculously bright. I think those are the lyrics. Gene Autry, also the man who did Frosty the Snowman, another absolute banger, but we're talking about Rudolph right now, damn it. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, what can I say? B tier for me. I've heard it one too many times, and personally, I love Chuck Berry's Run, Rudolph Run so much more, and you can blame my entire Christmas taste in music on Home Alone. It absolutely ruined me in the best way, so there's a few songs to look out for from that soundtrack. Chuck Berry, S tier, and rest in peace. Prepare for some potential hot takes as I continue to comb through all of the holiday hits of yesteryear and today. And up next, we have All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. Oh, this song, it's everywhere. It haunts my dreams. It sees me when I'm sleeping. It knows when I'm awake because it knows that I don't want to hear it again. I heard it. I've heard it 200 times, 500 times, 1,000 times at this point. I don't need it. If we were talking about the My Chemical Romance cover of this song, then absolutely, they made it palatable for me. I can take the song in because it actually has something behind it other than these shaking bells. I don't want a lap book with milk. Compositionally and vocally, it's a good song. I have nothing against Mariah Carey at all, other than the fact that this song won't stop coming back. It's D tier. D tier, D tier, D tier. Hey, I brought up My Chemical Romance, so why not do Gerard Way, their frontman, and his solo track that he put out for the holidays a few years back. This one was Dasher featuring Lydia Knight. I think this is a very emotionally resonant song. It definitely brings out some darker feelings that can creep in around Christmas and the holidays. I think it's a very brilliant song. The subtle uses of the bells in the background, it's so nice. There's so much atmosphere. This one is S tier for me. Relient K's Merry Christmas, Here's to Many More. I went with this one because it's an original song off of their album Let It Snow Baby, Let It Reindeer. I still love that pun. I don't think it's one of the better ones necessarily, but in the sake of fairness and keeping with who made what and what got popular, I will go with this one. I enjoy it. It's kind of a stripped back approach. It's not bad, but I'm putting it in the B. Nat King Cole, the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. This is definitely the definitive version. Something about Nat King Cole's voice just screams the holidays, like sitting by a fire and it's with family that you actually like. It's not my favorite Christmas song in existence, but I'd be hard-pressed to find too many flaws with it. I'm gonna put it in the A tier because that feels definitely fitting, a high A. Up next, we're probably gonna divide some people because we're talking about the Beatles and their two most prominent members. We have John Lennon and Paul McCartney with their holiday offerings. The first of those is Happy Xmas, War is Over by John Lennon, and I absolutely love this song. If you just sit down and think about all of those who are not able to celebrate the things that maybe we are, to have that additional privilege to not be in maybe a war-torn country. So to see John Lennon and Yoko and really everybody involved in this track, the choirs and the background, it just really hits these epic swells, and it's a staple of the season, so S for staple. On the other hand, you've also got Paul McCartney with a very, very different vibe with Wonderful Christmastime. Some people hate this song, and I am not one of those people. I actually enjoy this track. I think it's very fun. I don't understand the hate, really. It's just everybody dancing around the tree, maybe a little bit too much eggnog. That's okay. So what? You knocked off the gingerbread house. It's okay. You can build another one. Sir Paul, you might not have hit the level of John Lennon with Happy Xmas, but I will still put this in the B tier. It's fun. Immediately after that, let's jump forward a few decades and go to Fall Out Boy with You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. This was on their greatest hits compilation, but way before that ever existed. It was on some sort of like punk and emo compilation for the season. But don't ask me where I found this picture. I'm putting it in A tier. I love the reference to A Christmas Story, and I actually do love how kind of melancholic and blue this one feels. The Ronettes are up next with their classic rendition of Sleigh Ride. This is a vocal group, and it's not entirely my favorite version of the song, but I still really do like it. If I'm being honest, actually the song itself, Sleigh Ride, is one of my favorite holiday classics. I always seek this one out, and probably my favorite version of the song, believe it or not. It's by the indie pop group Fun, but I do like this version, and seeing as how we're ranking a lot of definitive versions here, I will still gladly put this high up in the B. Growing up, my parents were always playing Carpenters records, and I really developed an affinity for their music and for Karen Carpenter. Her voice just feels like home to me. Maybe that's a little bit too much cheese for you, but you know what? You can take it. If Santa has to go around and drink glasses of milk and have that much dairy in one night, you can take a little bit of cheese. Merry Christmas, Darling is the song that I went with for the sake of this list because it is one of their original songs. I just love how tender the vocals are. The backing harmonies are just elegant. It sounds so classy. There's a little bit of brass that comes in towards the end. It's such a nice, suave, Christmassy, by the camp log feeling, and I'm gonna put this one right on up there in the S tier. Michael Bublé has become the king of Christmas for about the past decade since he literally put out an album called Christmas. And I liked it at first. I still don't hate it, but good God, it's been overexposed with the numerous Christmas specials and everything like that. His version of It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas has kind of become the modern classic version of the song. It's definitely the most popular on that album. And I do like that song enough. I just have a hard time feeling all that much sentiment or attachment to it. He definitely has heart and soul behind his voice, but I can't put this any higher than a C. A Charlie Brown Christmas holds such a special place in my cold, dark heart. My parents and I have the tradition of watching this together each and every year. It's one of the few things that we actually agree on, being absolutely great, that we can just watch and say, yeah, we absolutely love this. It's so wholesome and innocent, and I really do like the music from it. Sometimes I do feel like it doesn't necessarily stand on its own as much, but I went with this song, Christmastime Is Here, the vocal version that you can hear in the Peanuts special, and just given the memories, the sentiment behind it, I'm going to put this one high up in the A. Kelly Clarkson's Christmas music has had longevity to its success, and I went with the song Underneath the Tree because it's charting again now in the 2020s. It's just an epic Christmas tune that definitely feels like it ramps up the energy a bit, so I can really appreciate that. It stands out from the pack, and I'll put it in the A tier. The Beach Boys are next. We have Little Saint Nick. This is off of their Christmas album. They had an entire one. I actually have an original copy of that on vinyl that my fiance's mom bought for me, which was awesome to get. I like most of the other songs way more than Little Saint Nick because, unfortunately, while this one is probably the most recognizable, it's also one of the most annoying. It just feels very high-pitched and kind of whiny and repetitive. I don't really get into the spirit with this one, so I think a D tier is fitting right next to Mariah. Oh, I'm totally getting coal in my stocking for those two. Don't even worry, I already know. Wham! Are up next. Last Christmas. This song is iconic. This came out in the 1980s. George Michael's voice and just the entire delivery, it's so earnest and it's so emotionally tender in its own way, and it's just an absolute classic. S tier, S tier, S tier. Taylor Swift delivered a really good little holiday song with Christmas Tree Farm. I think it's a very warm, nostalgic feeling. It's like opening your favorite gift on Christmas morning and being with your family and just kind of reminiscing. I'm gonna put this one in the A tier. I really like what Taylor did. Andy Williams is an absolute legend, and his voice that just really breaks through the stereo on It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. It can brighten my mood anytime, and I'm sure it does the same whether it's his version or another version. I think this is a Christmas classic. It's gotta go S tier. Ed Sheeran and Elton John have a Christmas song together that just came out in 2021. It's called Merry Christmas, and it's definitely on trend right now because everybody seems to be collaborating with Sir Elton John for whatever reason. And it's nice to, I guess, see his resurgence. Obviously, I love Elton John, but this song ain't really it. It just feels like it's existing for the fact that they wanted to have a Christmas song, some chart success. I put it in the D tier, and I just don't know if this song really has that much backbone to it. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. You're a nasty, wasty skunk. I love this song so much. It's thorough Ravenscroft with You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. This is something that I have to see every year, both the animated special and the Jim Carrey version of the movie, which is also just way too hated on. I saw that had like a 48 on Rotten Tomatoes. What the hell? You're an S tier, Mr. Grinch. Candy Cane Lane by Sia is up next. I'm sorry for showing you that horrifying image, but it's Sia, so do we expect anything less than that? Candy Cane Lane is actually a standout on her holiday album that she put out a few years back. I enjoy this song. It's kind of fun. It's a little bit irritating after a while, kind of like hanging around a small child that won't stop bugging you, but at the same time, it's okay. I don't really mind it all that much. I think C for Candy Cane, right? Now this is holiday royalty right here. This is Brenda Lee rocking around the Christmas tree. And to call back to earlier when I talked about Home Alone music, yeah, this song I grew up playing all the time because I was always playing that soundtrack. I really want this song to hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, right? It's S tier. We already know that. The Killers made a really playful, fun song, Don't Shoot Me Santa. I'm not gonna call it one of their best songs of all time, but I absolutely love this song. I listen to it each year. I love the darkness behind it, and I also love that they did so much work for charity with all of those Christmas singles, including this and Boots and several others. Something that hasn't aged very well though, we got NSYNC. It's Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I think this song is so of its time. They were doing their best to just appease the label, and this is going D tier. Sorry boys, I got love for you, but not this. Christmas Lights by Coldplay is underrated, I feel like. This is a great song that's just very stirring. It definitely just unlocks a key in my heart somewhere. I think it's so beautiful, and then that little flourish where they open it up with backing vocals right at the end of the song. It's an incredible piece, and I'm putting this high up in the A tier. Well, we couldn't go without mentioning the kings and queens of Christmas, Pentatonics, because they are absolutely obsessed with Christmas and won't stop doing anything other than Christmas because that's Christmas to me. And I went with one of their original songs. I like others better, like Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, but this is an original, and Pentatonics, Christmas, you know we had to rank them somewhere. I don't really care for this song all that much, but it's fun. It's just also kind of boring, so C tier. And finally, fellow human beings, we have Dean Martin's Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. This is a great track to end on because, one, I really do like it. I'm thinking A tier for this one just because of how iconic, but also maybe it's not quite the best, but it's still so good. He's got a warm voice that just really does remind you of other holidays that were maybe even better. Can't wait to see how seriously people take Christmas music and how seriously people take a tier list for Christmas music, but I guess I'm gonna find out very soon. No hate to any of the artists on the list, these are just my opinions. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new in town, and make sure you turn on those notifications so you don't miss out the next time I do a holiday extravaganza or, you know, regular programming.